So I'm Indy Monet, and I'm here with Danette Davis, and you're an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and you actually donated money for a sculpture dedicated to George Floyd in Houston. So we're going to talk all about that. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having
Okay.
me.
Yes, of course. So you donated actually $110,000 to a sculpture in honor of the late George Floyd in Houston. What moved you to do this?
Well, what I did was I commissioned the statue,
Hmm.
because I wanted to stay close to the work and wanted to make sure that when it was completed, it would be the vision and hopefully have the impact that I wanted it to have. And you say why? Because after just watching that 8 minutes, I just had to do something. I had to act, and art is my passion, and
Hmm.
it speaks volumes. And I felt like the best way for me to do what I do best is to donate something that would be lasting, but would be beautiful and have an impact. So that's what drove me.
Okay, so I know the sculpture will be called "A Conversation with George." So just talk about a little bit how it looks, and I guess what made you come up with the way it should look.
That's a good question because we spent a lot of time talking
Hmm.
about what would be effective, because when you do a statute and it's that controversial, and you're not trying to you want people to listen and think and you know, to the higher calling, and then it meant we had to talk about how do we make this so it's approachable and enjoyable, but at the same time impactful. And we thought about number one, um, we made him a little younger than perhaps most of the pictures that you see him portrayed, but it is him. We literally we have him with his hat on. You know, he wore that hat, and so the hat's on backwards, so it makes him a little bit more approachable. But we decided to sit him at a bench in a park. And we at the park, you'll find there's a few things laid out on the bench, and there's the words "dreams matter," and then there's the what he wrote at 7 years old, the speech about wanting to be a Supreme Court judge and having that effect in life, because we want people to reflect. So we created an environment that's happy, and people are doing things and they're comfortable and they're out with their families. They'll be reminded, but they'll be reminded in a respectful way. We want them to actually think about it and think about their dreams and their lives and reflect on race conversations and other kinds of things that matter. You know, to me, uh, after what happened with George Floyd and the kinds of things we saw, the shaking of the nation, the shaking of the world. You know, people behaved in just really unusual ways, which is a good thing. So we wanted them to be reminded of that feeling in that moment
Right.
in time.
And I know the sculpture should be revealed soon, but
Yes.
the artist, how did you go about picking the artist? What was that like? And go tell me a little bit about the process of that and name the artist as well.
Her name is Adrienne Rison Isom. And two things first that come to mind. Number one, she's genius. She's brilliant. I've known her. We were college friends and have been friends, for a very long time. But her work speaks to. She does controversial work, and she loves it. And I knew that when I talked about the challenge of a figure like George Floyd, that she'd be the best person for it. We worked on a statute earlier that was a donation to Texas Southern University. That's we call it Warrior, and she did the Jack Johnson statue that's was commissioned by the city of Galveston. And that's a controversial story, but she digs deep. She's a historian. She's on the historic commission in Austin or what have you, and just very talented. And I knew she'd do the work. I just knew she'd give it the time.
That's deep. And I love that you already knew her and just that connectivity, and she's has the history of doing these things. So I
Absolutely.
know that you worked with George Floyd's family. So what was their response to you wanting to do this and their reaction to the sculpture?
It's been great. As soon as we got in touch with the Floyd Foundation, there was a little conversation back and forth initially, and the lawyers on the call at first, and things like that as we were writing. But as they got comfortable in talking to us and really looking at what we were trying to do, they got excited. We brought them in to visit with us and look at the I guess the beginnings. We had his head, because Adrian works first in clay, or she'll, and so, or wax, but this one was clay. And so we had the features. We wanted them to buy in, to be good with what the image. And so they've been positive and all the way through. Told us, please use our names. And along the way, we met Gianna, his daughter, and his sister. So we've gotten to where we've met quite a bit of the family, and they're all excited. Look for them to be there next week when we do the unveiling as well. So.
Oh, so great. So I know, of course, like with this whole like movement, there's been so many faces that have fell victim to these situations, like, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Ahmaud Arbery. What made you really choose George Floyd?
Yeah, that's very true and very tragic. Everybody is equally important, and it was equally tragic. It's just when it happened, I think the video, having to literally sit there and just watch that, it just, I can't even watch it now. It's, and you've had to, see it again, that kind of thing. So it told me that I'm stirred, I'm moved, I need to do something, whatever that could be. And then in the next, few days and weeks after that, I saw that the world felt the same way. And so I'm going, okay, this is a moment. This is a moment we can seize. And if we can figure out a way to freeze it in time so people will be reminded, then this is what we should do. And it will be for Breonna. It'll be for Trayvon. It'll be for all of them. Because to me, that's what it stands for. So all of that injustice everywhere.
Right.
Okay. It's just that we chose this one because it was moving and shifting and moving the nation. And so we want to jump on that. If you find the nation moving and wanting to do the right thing, then I say you buy it, you jump in then. And that's why I thought George is the best place. And there's just something about that thing. I don't know if we were all just, the coronavirus is going on, everybody was still, but I thought we needed to do something different.
All right. Have you thought about putting the same statue in different locations, or did you want to do just Houston?
You know what? Actually, funny you mentioned that because Bishop Dixon, who is the executive director, NAACP local, and I had this conversation, I want to say maybe a few months ago, because we, being NAACP, there are various branches. And so that's a good connecting point for cities. And we're hoping, honestly, that others will want to do the same thing similarly in their cities. So, and he and I talked about partnering. So I'm excited. I'm just hoping that a lot of things will take off from this project.
Well, speaking of projects, what's next for you? I know you do a lot of community work. So what's next?
Well, Kay Davis, yes, in the community, that's what we say. And I say that because it was born of just that kind of behavior. It was, I have a furniture, fixtures, and equipment business, but we do a lot of schools. I do a lot of public work. So a lot of the requests became education, related and things like that. And I found myself doing so much of it that, it was just suggested maybe I would just go on and put something together so you can get others to help you do that. And so one of the things that we did for the Art in You, which was an art scholarship program I did for 3 schools here, and they competed, and we had some national artists come in and we gave them scholarships and things like that. But an after school program is what we're working on now. We have some after 3, and I don't like to say inner city schools, they're just in our community schools that we're working with that are near each other, feeder schools, and we're doing some after school arts type programs. It's art and dance and theater that we're working with them on. That's coming up. There's other things. I got a couple of things that I'm not ready to talk about, but we try to do things that help people. It's beneficial, but artsy and fun, but at the same time uplifting.
Right. That's great. I love how you merge art with community. I think that's important, especially for, like you said, the kids to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're worth it. I think when we add art to things, the mind, body, and spirit is who we say we are. with
Mhm.
KDITC. And that spirit part, that art, those things that make you feel good, but at the same time are good for you, that's what we try to do. And we partner with others who sometimes do it better, they do it every day. And then we just kind of make those funds available and work with them. So that's what we'll be doing next as well.
Okay, so is there an official date of the unveiling of the sculpture?
Yes, it's uh, May 25th. And,
Mhm.
that is literally the anniversary of the death. And I think the only thing that the family of the foundation asked me to do was make it around that time. But we
Mhm.
were able to, I mean, when I think about Commissioner Rodney Ellis, who has been my hero, my champion, along with a few others through this process, he said, if we can make it happen on that day, let's just do it. And so they moved some things around, he and the mayor, what have you, to make sure that we could do it on the 25th. And we're doing there's a, private, in the beginning when, because it's a smaller facility. And then we're going to open it to the public at 7, and they're going to have some tents and buses, and so we plan to have a good time that day, which is next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let people know where they can follow you and keep up with all of the great art and community events that you're, partaking in.
If you're www.kditc.com is where we are. These days with Google, you just put KDITC, we come up. But and the website, Twitter, I guess Instagram will show up, and on Google, you can just hit us up. And what we have there is kind of a list of things we're doing. And if you're interested, and I really wish you would give us a shout and tell us. We do partner to partner. The partners that we say we assist, the underserved or the underserved, or the folk that are not served, that need some things. And then you got folk who do the thing. You got the artists that's donating. You got the other community organizations that have things that they just want to share. We got some STEM projects and things that are going on where they're doing scholarships. We say partner to partner. So if in anything you can imagine that a community would need, the RAC grants, whatever, random act of kindness. Sometimes people just need a little bump, they just need a little boost, and to get them through. I've had some folk, a girl that may have had cancer, but she didn't need the help with that. That's not what we do. But she needed a car note paid for a couple of months, So random acts of kindness is also something that we do. It's in the community, whatever, because a lot of times folk will help themselves, but we all get in a tight from time to time, and so we just do a little boost with them with that grant, so they'll see the various things that they could participate in, and we welcome if from anywhere. If you guys want to help, or if we can point you in the right direction, if we can help, we'd like to do that as well. So it's www.kditc.com.